What reaction has there been in Westminster to these latest defections, this time from the Tory party?
Morning, Belle. Well, if anything, there was a bigger reaction yesterday to this than there was on Monday's resignations from the Labour Party, because this is really huge. Whilst we've got a precedent with the SDP back in the 1980s of Labour MPs quitting and doing this, we haven't really got one for three Tories quitting it. These are all quite three high-profile Tory women. Anna Soubry, a former government minister, Sarah Wollaston, a former doctor and head of a select committee in Parliament. They're all very effective communicators, and they put out a very clear message yesterday, tactically timing that resignation just before PMQs for maximum impact, giving that press conference. If we look through some of this morning's papers here, well, they are dominating all of the front pages. So on the Times, they have a story that David Cameron made a late bid to try to halt the Tory defections. Now, David Cameron tweeted last night that he was disappointed about this, and it's interesting that he decided to step in. He thought that the referendum back in 2016 would bring his party back together, but we're now seeing it's doing more than anything in the past few decades to really divide them with this breakaway group going. Now, if you look at the Daily Express, at the 11th hour, these Remain MPs abandoned the Tory party as May faces critical Brexit talks. They're saying it's no laughing matter. So this is the quite strong Brexiteer supporting press. They're going in for the attack. This is a paper that has previously called judges things like saboteurs for trying to block Brexit in its mind. So they're really going in here. And then if we look at the Daily Mail, I want to kill off Tory party. That's their take on what these three MPs were doing. And in all of that footage, and in the pictures we saw there, those three MPs looked pretty happy. They were smiling a lot. And I think they know that they aren't the only ones that are going to be jumping. Everyone here in Westminster is now on watch to see whether more Labour MPs, more Conservatives, will leave their party for this new independent group, and what kind of alliances they might be building in Parliament as well. Talks that they're in conversations with the Liberal Democrats, the normal third party, which have been pushed way down in the polling that we got yesterday when it comes to popular support.
Is there a sense, Vincent, of how fast this momentum that you're talking about there might snowball?
Well, at the moment, as I said, Belle, this is still just a political grouping, the independent group. And there is some clear ideological differences between these three new Conservative MPs and the 8 Labour ones that they joined. Anna Soubry said yesterday she still thought that what the Conservative coalition government had done, that she was a part of when it came to austerity, had been the right thing to do. Now, that is quite a dividing line. We will see whether they can come to enough consensus to set up a new party if they do want to do that and challenge the establishment. But this system here, it's very binary, two parties. But let's have a listen once again to Julie Girling, who was a Conservative MEP, on how she thinks this might have all changed British politics.
Well, Brexit's broken British politics. Each of the parties is riven by a division on Brexit. I mean, that's simple. And in British parties, which are very broad coalitions of interests, usually you can get by on something like the 80-20 rule. You know, you agree with about 80% of it, you can live with the 20. This isn't 80-20. This has taken over.
Now, it's an analogy I've used before, Belle, but Brexit has basically been like a Rubik's Cube with all the political colours completely mishmashed. You've got all parties with Remain and Leave elements, but now this seems something new. This is it being smashed open. This is MPs that are very worried about the prospect of no deal in just over a month's time, saying that we've got to do something to stop. And we'll see whether or not that resonates around the country. And I think we're all here on watch now to see whether any more MPs jump ship.